Hello, hello, hello. Good morning and compliments of the season. We're back slightly early, I should say, than we normally do. And that's just because Christmas Day would be the last Saturday of the month. And as much as I love you all, there's no way I am doing a video on Christmas Day. I'll be in lots and lots of trouble. And so we've had to pull it back by a week. And I hope that that's not messed your schedule up. But yes, staying consistent, we've got to honor our words. And the channel has made it quite clear that we are going to be doing live Q&As every month end. And December, 18th of December is just the right day to do it this month. Unlike other, at least the last 3 weeks, not 3 weeks, 3 monthly live Q&As, we've had invites. We've had a guest with us. Everyone is preparing for Christmas, so I was not able to convince anyone in particular to, come and sit down with me and sort of mix things up. And so I'm doing it solo. However, I did say in the description of the video that if you want to join as a guest live, I pull you straight into this broadcast. Just let me know via email. And to date, I haven't received, I'm just checking my email again to see if anyone has shown that interest. But before I came on the show, I didn't see anyone who particularly wanted to do that. I know you're all shy, and so I don't blame you. And so I'm happy to go solo, ultimately for your benefit. But feel free, even during the broadcast, if you gain enough inspiration or courage whilst I'm breaking down what we're covering today, then just let me know and I'll send you a ping straight away and pull you in, hopefully with enough time to do that. But please use the comments to put your questions. I am looking at the comments. I can see it on the screen, and so I'll be able to let you know how we're flowing. Ultimately, if you have a question, put a Q before your question and then send it through. And that way I'm able to easily sort it out and answer your question in the time frame that we have. Okay? If you're just joining, I can see people are just popping in. If you're just joining, it's Family Cyber Clinic's live monthly Q&A. We do this every month end. We've shifted it and pulled it back by a week to allow you enjoy your Christmas. We are going to discuss, as you saw in the description, we're going to be discussing current trending scams. We're not actually going to highlight what those scams are. We're just going to let you know how you can identify them and what you can do also to prevent getting stung. And that's important, okay? All seasons, and by seasons I mean the summer season, Thanksgiving in the US, Christmas, Easter, those are periods that the rogue feels there's a lot of foot traffic or traffic in general by users online. And of course, where you have a lot of online users, you have the rogue, looking for opportunities to scam. Christmas is no different. In fact, like I mentioned at the beginning, it's actually the more rife during Christmas. You get online scams like, crazy happening around this time. Deals that are too good to be true, refund schemes, smishing scams, SMS scams, all those things are out there and they're happening right now. And I'm very keen to make sure that we are focused and that we're not getting stung by these rogues. If you're just coming, that's all we're going to be discussing today. So we're going to be discussing how to identify a scam. And all this is not foolproof. They're just red flags that you see. And again, we've discussed this no end. And it's no harm repeating it and reminding you, because the way the rogue operates, if there's a lot of traffic, if things are busy, they are in many ways trusting that you will be distracted enough to take your eyes off the ball. And by that I mean the due diligence that you exercise when you do some things like shopping online or paying for goods and services online, all those things. They know that because you're distracted because of the seasons, because of these fantastic deals, that you're no longer as diligent as you would be. And that's how they strike. And so it's important to know how to identify that there is a scam going on or something off. It should be evident to you, but it's not. And I'm hoping that the red flags that I will share with you will keep you safe during the season. Okay? So the first way to identify if you're being scammed or the beginning of a scam is if you see a deal that is too good to be true. I know you've heard that if it's too good to be true, then it's not true. You should be really, really, just have your guards up straight away. Too good to be true, then it's more likely or most certainly not a legit offer. Okay. Examples that I can give or share. I'll give you one. A holiday, that's much cheaper than you expect. A holiday to a hotel with breakfast and all that, selling or being offered for say £5 or £10. That's just a good deal. I'm not suggesting that those deals don't exist, but it's too good to be true. So if it's too good to be true, then you have to have your guards up and make sure that you're not being scammed. You may pick up the phone and call the hotel instead of just leaning on the information you see online. Pick up the phone, call the hotel, verify the number, verify that online deal is legit. Those two things should give you some peace of mind that exchanging your money, no matter how small it is, you are doing business with something that's legit. Okay? So if it seems too good to be true, then your guards have to be up. Okay? That's one. And someone you don't know contacts you unexpectedly. We call it unsolicited contacts. Someone contacts you out of the blue. and asks some questions that are a bit dodgy, you've got to be, diligent. You've got to raise your eyebrows to such things. I mean, if they don't know you, then really, how did they get your number? How did they get your information, your email address? So be wary of people who contact you unexpectedly, people you don't know. That's potentially the beginning of a scam. So don't just do the normal things because someone has taken the pains in contacting you. No, that's fair. You've contacted me, but who are you? So before you part with any information at all, make sure that you are, you're alert. Quite so. Be alert when such things happen. All right. And then there's, I think this is more important for those who do a lot of online business, online purchasing. It's important that you are able to identify if a company advertising themselves on a website or via their website is legit. Not all companies that you see online are really companies. And there's a way to check if they're legit, if they're a real company. Information like address, postal code, phone number, landline number. I know those. That's quite a thing. It's an old thing now. People still have landlines, but you can use a landline, postcode, and address to confirm if a company is legit. And that's important. Very important that you're able to verify that a company that's advertising online is actually a legitimate company. You have another way to identify a scam. If someone all of a sudden or out of the blue again asks you to transfer money quickly. I know that seems quite naive, but people are falling for it. Someone tells you transfer this money quickly because I have an emergency. You may not know me, but I'm a brother of a sister or a sister and a brother. I'm just going on a tangent, but you get the idea. If anyone asks you to transfer money very quickly, at times you may have someone who is spoofing or pretending to be someone else. Someone who you know. So someone pretends to be someone you know and then asks you for money and says you should transfer the money quickly because they have an emergency. You see those emails, they're all phishing emails. Those are initial steps or initial plans to scam you. And that's important that you see that as a red flag. That if anyone just comes out of the blue and asks you to transfer money quickly, not good. Okay, just raise that flag, and that's important. Another way, and I should have two more after this. Another way that you can identify if a transaction you're having is a scam is if someone who you're legitimately, well, quote unquote, doing business with online asks you to pay money in an unusual way. Usually they'll ask you for a credit card, or they'll ask you for a debit card at times, or even they may even ask you for PayPal, Google Pay, or Apple Pay. If someone now out of the blue says, can I ask you to pay the money using an iTunes voucher or through a transfer service like MoneyGram, or Western Union, I think that may ring true to many of you. If you're asked to pay money in an unusual way, it's a bit worrying because transactions should be done with credit cards or debit cards or PayPal, Apple Pay, or Google Pay, because you've got to have a bank account to have those things. If someone now asks you to pay using a different mode of payment, like the three that I've mentioned, MoneyGram, Western Union, or iTunes vouchers, it will suggest that they don't have a bank account and that they're looking to get the money in as easy a way as possible. And that is a red flag. That people legitimately who don't have credit cards that would ask for that mode of payment. So I'm not suggesting that you be full on and say no. It just means that in addition to paying by those methods, you do your homework a lot more, just to give that added security that you're trading or doing business with someone who is legit. And that's important too. Really important that we keep our eyes out for that. Personal information, that's a given. Do not exchange personal information or private information, things like your PIN or password. If anyone online asks you for that information, even your bank, if they ask you for that information, that's suspect. And that could be the beginning of a scam. So you've got to make sure that you are not falling for that. Also, strong passwords and PINs should stay personal and private to you. You have no business sharing them, no matter who it is that's requesting it. Passwords and PINs are a big no. Okay? And then the last one, you get to do business with someone online that requires a contract, and you've not received, a written confirmation either via email or text, that what you've agreed is sealed in this email. So if you're doing business with anyone based on terms and conditions, you should get a confirmation email that the transaction details are what you've agreed, and you can have an opportunity to read it before signing it. If you don't receive something back from the person you're doing business with, then it's likely that you're trading with someone who's not legit. There has to be some sort of to and fro to help you feel comfortable that you are trading with a human being. Okay? Now, that list is not exhaustive. It's just a few things that I believe can be red flags and are common enough for you to identify them. But you must look out for red flags. Just looking for the comments to make sure that we're not ignoring. Just make sure. Okay. You guys are quiet. Unless the comments are not working, I can't see any question, no hello, no hi. You guys are boring today. You should say hello at least. It's rude otherwise. Come on, say hello and let me know that you're out there. I can see the numbers based on my little screen here that I can check to see whether people are actually listening to me. It really does matter, so don't say it, Lawrence. It matters to me that you're here. It matters to me that you are engaging with me. If you're not engaging with me, then you're suggesting that the live Q&As are not necessary. I'm thankful that at least I have content to share, because it can be so embarrassing that I sit here for X amount of minutes not seeing questions come through. Save me by sending a question. At least say hi so I know that you are there listening to me live. Because I could do this recorded. Yeah? Saves everyone the hassle, the trouble. But no, I'm here. So you're there today. And I can see that you're there. So just send in your question and let me know that you are getting value. If you are getting value, no doubt you should also like what you're hearing so far. All right? So far, for those who are just joining and those who are going to be watching on replay, evidently, we've discussed ways to identify scams, and we've kind of listed it. You have the opportunity to rewind this and follow through, but we've discussed enough. We had a list that we followed, and those are red flags that will more than it's not rare. I know that for a fact. More than likely tell you that a scam is beginning. Hello, Auntie Nora. Thank you for saving us, my able supporter. my fan. So anybody else before we go to the next area of concern? Waiting. You may see how I'm armed up with jacket and all that. It's quite cold. Not as cold as it usually is in December, but it's cold where I am doing this from. Okay? So I hope you're keeping safe and you're not distracted by all that's happening. It's enough to distract us, but we stay focused. All right? Let's stay focused on the things that we have control over. That's the love that we have for our young ones and each other. Very important. Crucially so. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to hold back because Auntie Nora has done exactly what I wanted. I just wanted to know that you guys could hear me. All right. So we really do have to protect ourselves from being scammed online. That's important. That's something that I know many are not diligently looking out for. How do you protect yourself from scams that happen? I've told you how you can identify that a scam is happening, but there are things you can do to prevent it, the things you can do to protect yourself and your young ones from being scammed. Hello, Auntie Valerie. Thank you. It's good to have my my people save me. It's important, really important, that we are protecting ourselves. And the thing is, we can't really stop doing it. It's not something that we can take a break from. When we are engaging online, we do it as readily and as normal as possible. That's the way it should be. But when you have threats, the threats of rogues, trying to spoil your fun on the internet, it's a problem. But that problem only gets fixed if we place enough attention. Coming to a live Q&A like this is crucial because you get an opportunity to share information with people like you. And then by God's doing and God's doing alone, I'm able to also point you in directions where we can get information, more information to keep ourselves nourished and protected at the same time. All right. We have so many videos in the portal that talk about internet security, cyber safety, and all that. So you get all that information there. The live Q&A gives you an opportunity to ask questions based on what you've consumed. That's why we have the live Q&As. I would have loved to have it more readily, but when we have numbers like this, it becomes a bit painful that you invest that time and people don't come. So maybe they just prefer recorded content. I'm not convinced that's the case. I just believe that you guys are quite busy. And so we will not close shop. We'll continue making sure that I'm available, that we're available to answer your questions. So Auntie Nora and Auntie Valerie, welcome to the live Q&A. Okay. So there are things that we can do to protect ourselves, especially our kids, from being scammed online. And the following things should help, okay? Fake online shops. I've already discussed it in how to identify a scam. Shops that you see online are usually, at least they usually claim to be a registered company. If they say they're a registered company when you go to the About Us page, just confirm that information by going to gov.uk. Check that they are a registered company, because a registered company would mean that if anything happened, you had people or a person to contact, to query. If you don't have that, then you're going to struggle. So check the signs of a fake online shop. If there's no information about where they're registered, the address they're registered to, how long they've been in business, just saying it immediately appears clumsy, appears long-winded. But that's what we have to do, and I call it due diligence. That's the amount of work we have to do to stay safe. Staying safe is hard work because we live in a fast-paced society and you want things to be done, quite quickly. And that the rogue is banking on that. And that's why we must slow down and make sure that we are taking our time. So taking our time to check out if an online shop is fake, it's no big deal. What are we in a hurry to do? The same way we would advise that if you're going to an ATM machine to withdraw money, you take your time. You don't rush. It's not something you just rush. You don't just go there and say, my PIN. You make everybody who is behind you, to see what you're doing. You take your time. Don't be rushed. Don't allow anybody rush you. In fact, that could be a telltale sign that something or someone is about to scam you. When they rush you, if you're being rushed, I said it before, if you're told to do something quickly, that is a telltale sign. So to prevent or protect yourself from being scammed, make sure you're checking out the companies on these, that are advertising on these websites. Check that they're registered, that they're legit. That's just one thing you can do that gives you peace of mind. Amongst the many other things that you will do, checking that the site itself is secure. You can check that out easily by some of the things that we've mentioned, SSL, HTTPS. These are things that we've discussed in the portal already, but you must check them out, okay? All right, so there's a second, and it's one that we keep saying. If you receive a text message or an email with links from someone unsolicited or from someone you don't trust, don't click the links. Don't click download. These are things that are very simple, but I have to repeat it because we're talking about scamming. Don't click or download anything you don't trust. That's crucial. Absolutely crucial. Don't do that because you could be downloading malware, and malware by definition doesn't mean you well. It's going to be damaging your system. Malware is not designed to help you. It's not designed to make your browsing experience sweet. It's there to distract you, maim you, upset you. Nothing good about it. So downloading anything that you don't trust just doesn't seem right, okay? So don't click or download anything you don't trust. Via email or via SMS, a big no. Okay? That's a third. And we have a fourth. Be careful about giving out your personal information. In fact, one of the things that I gained from it, having discussed with the three guests that we've had recently, personal information, private information is golden. It's like it's so important. Personal information by definition is yours. So you should not give out your personal information to anyone. There's some places you go to, some sites you go to, like your banking sites, that at the onset, they will ask you for personal information to build that profile that's required to trade or engage safely. But it's once. Okay, so you've built the platform, you've entered all your personal information, encrypted in an encrypted way because you are on a site that's secure, you do that. And once you've done that, there is nobody in the banking system who is going to request that information again from you. If you're being asked for that information, that's a red flag. Okay? So don't give out your personal information to anyone beyond what I've already discussed. Okay? Scammers and rogues are only out to get at your information so they can do you harm. So giving it to them just seems too easy a way to let go of your hard-earned money. All right? So be careful. Don't give away your personal or private information to anyone. Information, okay, so you may be asking, and it would be nice if you put it in the comments when you're not asking. So I'll answer it anyway. What personal information am I talking about? I'm talking about your full name, full name, where you live, your date of birth, the primary school you attended, your mother's maiden name. Those are the sort of questions that have been asked for years now, but they're being asked. And so if you have that information out there in the wrong hands, they can access your accounts, because 80%, maybe higher, 80% of the time you have used that information in your, to come up with security, to answer security questions normally, the ones I've just mentioned. Which primary school did you attend? What's your national insurance number? These are things that if you place those answers in the public domain, a scammer can get to that information if your system is compromised. And so that's important. Don't give out your personal or private information. Okay? We have a fifth, and it's sort of similar. Do not share those details with people online. Your login details. Usually a login name or a username is made up of your first initial and your surname. Yeah? That's usual. How many of us are making it complex? How many of us continue just say, okay, if your name is Michael Smith, your username is M. Smith. If you make it that easy and just use a username as M. Smith, you're giving them one out of two things they need to access your portals. I know I've had a discussion, and in the last video, I suggested that you use nicknames, and I hastened to add fake names. I'm not suggesting that we lie, but the internet is not a place where you play games, where you're being too friendly. Being friendly on the internet is like going into a zoo and putting your hands through the cage of a lion. You're playing with danger. And so you do everything you need to do to stay secure, stay safe. So if in the dungeon, the way you play the game is by using a nickname, which in many ways is not your name, so it is fake, but you're using a nickname and giving as little personal information as possible. We talked about when you go on these gaming sites, use nicknames. There's no, and if indeed they need your full name, which I'm hoping for gaming sites, that's not the case. That sometimes you can't get out of it because they need it to verify some information. But when it's optional, and most times it's optional, you don't have to give your full name. Just give a name that will identify you. That's it. But not one that will verify who you are, unless that's the case. So you've got to give as little information as possible so that people can't build a profile of you. If someone has your full name and last name, believe me, you've given them a lot, because I could put that full name and last name in Google and something will come up. You've been tagged in a photo. There's always information out there on Google. I'm sure you know this very well. So it's important that you keep your personal details personal. Now, we've had breaches that have happened over time. Not your fault. Companies like Carphone Warehouse, we know of a time that their network was attacked. Personal information of many of their customers was exposed to the internet or to the public. That's not good, because imagine someone picking up, I think PS4, Sony also had a similar problem. Your details, your personal information, especially the ones that you've put in those on those websites like PS4 and Carphone Warehouse, that information being out there would mean that if a rogue now who has free access to it gets their hands on it, they can come back to your portal and, possibly access your system, which is why we recommend that from time to time, we say 42 days, you change the passwords of all your portals or platforms. The reason why we recommend that is for reasons like the one I've just shared. If a company's website has been breached, it will mean that potentially a rogue has access to your personal information. If they grab it and know where you sort of do your business, they can use that information to access your other sites that are not related to those two vendors. So when we also recommend that you don't have passwords set, the same password set across all your platforms, you can see why we do that. We do that because if one site is compromised, at least that information cannot be used, should not be able to be used on another site. But if you have the same password, same login name and all that, you're in trouble. Okay? So if a company's site has been breached like Carphone Warehouse and the PS4 Sony that I just mentioned, it will mean that you have to do something to prevent that information working on other platforms. There is a site called Have I Been Pawned? Have I Been Pawned? If I could type, I would have typed it in the comments. Have I Been Pawned? So have, H-A-V-E-I, just I, been, B-E-E-N, and then pawned, rather than be P-A-W-N-E-D, it's just P-W-N-E-D. Have I Been Pawned? If you go to that website and put your email address or your phone number, you'll be able to tell if your name, rather your phone number or your email address has been found in any breach that has gone on in the United Kingdom, in the US, and wherever it is you're located. And that can be very useful if you want to know how secure your details are. Because if your system or your email address and phone number has been found in a breach, then the rogue has information there already that they can use to scam you or to harm you. So if you were not being prompted by the Family Cyber Clinic's advice that you change your password every 42 days, if you search what's it called? Have I Been Pawned? And you find that your email address or phone number is in the list, then that should prompt you. That should prompt you to change your details. Okay, I'm just looking. Sorry, I got a bit distracted. I was looking at someone who's just joined, and I don't see that that's a question. It's Dorothy Hamilton. Don't know who that is, but welcome, Dorothy. I hope you find what you're looking for. That's the idea. We want to be of use to you. As I said, if you have any questions, please put it in the comments. Put a Q before your question, and we can, help you as best as possible. So that was a long one. Checking that your details, checking to see whether your details have been shared online. That's important. Okay, so I saw Dorothy and I saw Rebecca I'm guessing based on the information that they're putting in, it may be dodgy. They put it in. I don't know whether you can see the comments, but I don't want to give it airtime by putting it in the broadcast. But the comments don't look right. So I will welcome if you're here. I hope you're here to do business, the right business with me. If you're not here, you're not a friend, you're a foe. We welcome you, but we hope that again, like I said, you find what you are looking for. Okay, so have I been pawned is your friend, really, to check, especially on websites that have been hacked, to check if your information has been made public, or available when a website has been hacked. To find that out, you put a name, or rather your phone number and an email address, and you'll be able to tell. You just put it in and it will tell you, yes, you're okay, good. You see a lot of green. And then if it's a bit dodgy, you see red or yellow. Typical, yeah? Okay. Another way to protect yourself is to make sure that your online accounts are secure. Make sure you have strong and complex passwords set for all your online accounts, and don't use it on all platforms. Make sure that it's different for each portal. I know many of us complain that we were not able to remember our passwords. That's the reason why we set the same password across all our platforms. As convenient as that is, it's still not the right thing to do. I'd rather you get a password manager, and we have videos on password managers that we can use. Get a password manager, and using a password manager helps you store as many passwords as possible, which means you don't have to remember. You only have to remember one. And I'm sure that should excite you. Okay? Very important that we do that. Yeah? Okay, so we're coming closer to the end of the list. If you're just joining, we're discussing ways to prevent or protect ourselves from being scammed online. So far, we've shared several things on how we can protect ourselves. We talked about fake online shops. We talked about do not download anything that we don't trust. Be careful about giving personal information away. And you have opportunities also to check that your details are, have been shared or not been shared online. But securing our online accounts was the last one we touched on. Strong passwords, strong complex passwords, important. If we are burdened by having to remember too many passwords, then of course we can invest in a password manager, which allows you save many passwords for your portals or your online portals, but only have to remember one. And that should delight many of you. As I said, there's a video that will sort of give you a list of the ones you can do. If there's no video, make sure you let me know, but I'm sure we've touched on this in one of the best practice videos that we've shared, okay? So make those online accounts secure. So the second to the last point that we hope you would use to help protect, prevent yourself from being scammed. And every time we say you, we're talking about you and the young one you have a responsibility over, or young ones. It's very important. If you're safe, they're safe. So anything you do on your system, of course, I'm sure you will do it on their system. The habits that you, are doing or you're engaging in, those habits will filter down to your young ones. And if it's not, make time. Please make time and make sure that they are doing exactly what you're doing. Payments. How do you pay for goods and services online? Very important to protect yourself or prevent yourself from being scammed. Make all your business purchases, personal, make all your personal purchases online. Make sure that you're using the likes of PayPal, Google Pay, Apple Pay, and you're not using your debit card, you're not typing things in. We found out that there is a video in the portal that tells you about our preference as a clinic to using PayPal instead of using debit cards, and in many cases, credit cards. Anything that is designed to have you type something in, because of what we know on the internet, it's just best to use things that will mask your information. PayPal will mask your information. Google Pay and Apple Pay will mask your information, so you don't have your personal information out there. For the rogue, the scammer, to get to your information, they will have to hack Google Pay, Apple Pay, and PayPal, and that is a feat. So I'd rather we use those services instead of using our cards directly, so pay by PayPal and not directly by your debit cards. That will prevent and protect yourself from being scammed online. All right. Now, your bank operates in a certain way, and I know that we don't take this to heart. We don't even investigate how our bank, engages online with us. And so there's some questions that you may be asked by your bank online that you feel or you may think is legitimate that your bank will never ask you. But how do you know unless you go to their website and look at their terms and conditions? And they will tell you there, this is how we engage online with all our business or our users. And if you know exactly how they engage, when you see certain things pop up on your screen, either via email or via text, that can't be my bank. That's not how my bank operates, because in their terms and conditions, they've told me this is how we roll. But to get that, bold about how your bank engages, you have to read. You have to go to your bank's website, and in there, find out how they will engage with their users, how they communicate with you. Crucial. Hi, Thelma. I just saw a question. Yeah, so that's our first question. Shame on all of you. And of course, I mean that in a friendly way, but it means that whatever it is I'm giving you, you are flowing with. But Thelma has asked a question, which I've put on screen. It says, what do we do if our email has been pawned? Change password only, or... Well, it's a beautiful question, Thelma. Thank you for it. The first step is to change your password, without a doubt. You see, it will not be such a burden if you've been doing that anyway, following best practice, 42 days, in some cases 30 days. If you're changing your passwords regularly anyway, then if your password has been, not your password, if your email address or mobile phone number has been included in that breach, you may not have to bother about changing your password because you change it anyway, depending on the timing. But we'll always advise that if you find that you have been part of information leaked due to the hacking of a website, then yes, immediately change your password. Thankfully, on the Have I Been Pawned site, the site is quite good. That's why I've bothered to put it on or talk about it. They tell you what can be done. Some of those, especially because don't forget that they will tell you in there if your email address or phone number is in the list, they will give you the exact name of the website or the company where your details were found. So you can call the vendor if they're still in business. You can call the vendor and have them remove your information, especially if you're no longer doing business with them. some of the hacked sites that have some of your details may no longer be in business, obviously because they've been hacked. So if you can engage them, if you have details to contact them, then that's a way to have them remove your information from their database and not import it back into their database. That's one way we could attack it. But changing your passwords, abandoning your email in general, because that could be a thing. Having your email address out there, changing your password will not stop the spamming, not stop the scamming attempts. So you may just want to abandon your email address entirely. That's a thing. I'm not going to rule that out because some people have it easier than others. That's interesting. Thelma has asked another question. Why should we trust the porn site? You've got to trust somebody. You've got to trust somebody. Having your email address, and in fact, the only reason why I've talked about have I been pawned is because of the research I've done. There are other websites that will have the same information and get you to know whether your information has been shared online without your permission. So yes, it's a valid question. How do you trust that Have I Been Pawned is a legit site? You do what I've just mentioned. Check that they're a registered company. Check the reviews that you find. And we share this information on the website, or rather on the portal. Check reviews. And so far, the reviews that I've researched lead me to believing that the information can be trusted. Don't put all your eggs in this basket. There are other things that we've shared already that will help you protect yourself from being scammed. This is one of many, but it's important. It's a valid question. Look for some of those red flags. Is it a secure site? Is your information encrypted? You know, I could go on, but ultimately you have to be diligently engaged, so you know whether you are on a platform that's safe and secure. So my answer to Thelma's last question, that's why should we trust the porn site? Because they have a track record. When you go to the About Us, they've been in operation for X amount of years. That's usually encouraging. But check reviews. And this is, reviews help you, a user, find out how other users rate a site. If you get bad feedback from competitors or from people who've had a bad experience, no doubt. But you've got to check the percentages, and then you find based on the percentages whether this website or that website is worth your trouble. But the Have I Been Pawned is one of many things you can add to your armory to make sure that you're protecting yourself from being scammed. So thank you very much, Thelma. It's good to have you. And Thelma is I thought she was going to go deeper because she's technical, quite technical, and it's nice to have a techie, a very beautiful techie online too. Yeah, we're about there. I've been talking for close to an hour. Thelma, thank you for saving me. Thank you for saving me. Okay, just chill a bit and see if there are any more questions coming in the few minutes we have left. No. Okay. So somebody on the platform may have been stung already. So all these things that I'm telling them, it's a bit too late. You know, you've lost money. Your system is just a mess now. You can't log into your system because it's been compromised. This information is still useful. It's still the same. It's still the truth. So when you now get back into your new system, you need to be doing these. Okay. But if you've been stung by a scammer and fraud has been committed, you won't put it on now. We'll put it on after the show. You have addresses or phone numbers you can ring, like Action Fraud, that will help you, repair or help you get some help. Action Fraud is one that I know. You have ChildNet, if it involves children, but ultimately there's help out there. Many people are queuing or waiting for you to shout out for help, and they will help you. We'll put those details in the description, and after the show you can consume that information accordingly. Okay. So in the time that we've been together, I've been able to break down ways on how you can identify a scam, the red flags, the things that you need to look out for. And then we've also exhaustively spoken about ways to prevent or protect ourselves from being scammed, and many other things that time does not permit us to share. But we've shared over the few years we've been online now in the portal. There are enough videos to help you, to teach you on how to stay safe whilst engaging on the internet, you and of course your family. Let's see. Okay, Thelma has asked another question. Yes, it is. Abandoning your email is huge. There was a time, and you touched on something that is quite close to my heart. You remember the .com era, where if you didn't have a .com domain, you were nobody. Oprah.com. It was so nice to have your name.com. But the same way, with the passage of time, the .com vibe has waned. Now, if you have .live, .io, .org, yeah, why not? As long as they can reach you. So believe me, losing your address, as painful as it will be, because you have your information scattered all over. We all start over. Some people, that's why I said that some people have been stung harder than others. There's some people whose scamming experience is just little. Some, and that's why I put it in, there's some who are required to change it all, to start over if the scamming impact was huge. So yes, Thelma saying that abandoning her email address is huge, but that may be what you need to do to start over. It's also huge for some people. I remember also when one-to-one, I'm telling you now my age, in the UK, what the phone company that's is it O2 now? I don't know what it is now, but there was a company that used to give free minutes, evening, morning, and all that, and you had a phone number attached to that. The moment you changed your number, you lost that privilege. With time, because it happened for so long, with time, other companies caught up and started offering a better package. So we were able to get off that fantastic deal, which meant we could change our numbers. So just like email addresses, you can change your number also, if that's the case, to avoid all the spam. Because don't forget, you've made the mistake to put all your information out there. And again, unfortunately, some people get bitten by breaches when websites are hacked. If that has happened to you and you're getting too much noise coming back to you, then you don't have a choice. I hope that's not your experience, Thelma, but that's one way to find out, or one way to get rid of all this noise, okay? Okay, Thelma has saved us. She's kept me talking and feeling that we are adding value. So we've come to the business end of our engagement, and I am going to be walking away. She says, thank you. You're very welcome, Thelma. Thank you too. Okay. Okay, we never like ending our broadcast without giving you an opportunity to, be a part of this family. Yes, it may have appeared boring. It's a wrong time to have a live Q&A, I think. But we have to do it at noon to allow our Asian family engage also, so that they can also get the real-time vibe. And that's why we do it at this time. I'm sure there's another time we can do it. Maybe we will just have a live show for our Asian folks and a live show for all the other people, so that we're not keeping them unnecessarily awake. But we give you an opportunity every month to become a part of this family. You do that by doing three things. One, you share this content with your friends and family. Like the content so that YouTube and Facebook would know that there are people who are requiring this content. And of course, you subscribe. Subscribe to this platform and become a part of this family. We release videos every week, and of course we have this live show engagement every month. So it'll be nice to have you be a part of this family. Thank you so much for giving me an hour of your day in December. Wow, really treasure it. Until next week, when we obviously continue our normal day-to-day or week-to-week, I'll use this opportunity to wish you a safe Christmas with family and friends. Have opportunities to play games, talk about the internet and all that. Yes, right. But no, I want you to stay safe. I love you guys loads, and I will see you on the other side of Christmas. Be safe. God bless, and goodbye.